It is Tuesday the 2nd of June 2020 and this is the MMA Movement live chat. I'm your host Robert Palin, and if you don't know who I am, that means you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, but it's easy to fix that. Just click the subscribe button down below. And if you don't know who this man is, to my right anyway, it's Sean Taylor. He's my co-host for this live chat and he is a legend, some would say.
A legend with a new light as well. I'm pretty happy. I have to say I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah,
I watched back some of the live chats before, and like the lighting in my where I sit is in this house is chronic.
Yeah.
So I got myself a little makeup light, and it looks deadly.
Yeah, so Sean's going to be doing his makeup before the show, as well as having excellent lighting for the show. So if you want to throw your plaudits at Sean, do it right now. The way this episode show thing works, kind of is simple. You just give us some questions, we answer them, whatever the questions may be, we don't care. Hopefully they're MMA related, because that's what a lot of people want to talk about when they come to this channel. So try keep them to MMA related, but it doesn't matter, we'll do anything. But we also have some backups, some things we want to talk about, as you can see in the description of this video. UFC 250 goes down this weekend. It's not a bad card. I mean, when it was when it was announced, I wasn't quite sure, but now it's actually not bad. There's a few fights, aside from the main event, which I think is okay, but I think there's a few fights under that that's even better. You also have all the stuff going on with Jon Jones right now, some crazy stuff. It's kind of hard to kind of, get your way and go all the way through it, but we'll try. And also, there was a card on last weekend. Gilbert Burns beat Tyron Woodley in dominant fashion. Both me and Sean picked Gilbert Burns to win, so I think we are pretty happy with that. But I don't think Sean pulled the trigger on the bet though.
No, if Noah was listening, he picked Tyron Woodley, so I'm just going to call that out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pull the trigger on Gilbert Burns. I did say it was my bet of the night, but that was at 13-8, and by the time I got around to looking at backing him, he was 11-8, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because I was only going to put a single on it, so I didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, fair enough. Tom Brown Jones in the chat said that seconds in and Sean has already upset him with his short choice. What is that short? I see Wembley 1985 and it's a Manchester United short. FA Cup final.
So it is an Adidas remake of the 1985 FA Cup final shirt. I'm a bit of a jersey nerd, to be honest. I have a big ass collection of jerseys.
Yeah, he does. I've seen many of them. So
it's
Sean,
hard when we're recording in the office though, because I can't always wear them into the office.
Yeah, I know, it's a bit unprofessional, isn't it? But yeah, let's jump straight into this. I want to talk about Jon Jones first. As I said, throw your questions into the live chat and do like this video, it really helps us out. But let's jump straight into it, Sean. We don't have a specific question about this, but I'm sure everybody knows what's going on with Jon Jones right now. It looks like, according to him and according to his manager or his coach, that he may be vacating the light heavyweight title because he is not getting paid what he thinks he is worth. First, it started with him going up to heavyweight, potentially to fight Francis Ngannou. And allegedly, the UFC said, we're not giving you any more money to fight Francis Ngannou, or at least we're not giving you the money that you asked for, which Dana White says was in the Deontay Wilder region of cash. Now it seems like Jon Jones is just completely pissed off. He's out there stopping rioters and people from, writing on walls and stuff like that.
Nice to see Jon Jones doing some good stuff.
I know, he's having a great week. But yeah, now it seems like he might actually vacate the title. So let's talk about this, Sean. Right now, where we sit on this 2nd of June, how do you feel about this Jon Jones situation? Do you feel like they will resolve it? Do you feel like he'll return at light heavyweight and keep that title?
I don't know. I with maybe another fighter, I feel like they could resolve it. I think Dana and Jon have had a pretty fractious relationship now for quite a while. The problem with this is I don't even know where to start with it. It's so much going on here, and it's such a messy topic, because the topic of fighter pay is such a tough one. I mean, the system is broken for how fighters get paid. It doesn't work. And there's so much, like Jon was essentially always been promised and always been told, if you want those big paydays, you're going to have to go up to heavyweight. And now he wants to go up to heavyweight. And personally, I find it hard to believe that he asked for Deontay Wilder kind of money. I just find that hard to believe. Because even Conor McGregor doesn't get that kind of money from the UFC.
Yeah.
So I find that hard to believe. But Dana's obviously not paying him what he's worth either. Like, that's obviously a fact. I don't know. I'm not sure they'll get it resolved. I don't think we'll see Jones and Ngannou next.
Yeah.
I mean, Ngannou said something similar when he was talking to Ariel, I think it was. Ariel asked him, "Would you take the same money that you fought Rosenstruck for?" And Ngannou was like, "Fuck no." I
Yeah.
think was his exact quote. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't think they get a result.
Yeah. It's a hard one because I find it hard to believe that Jon Jones won't fight again. Like that's kind of where I'm at. So in that sense, I'm like, I think they're going to get it done at the end of the day. Now I hear a lot of people talking about maybe Jon Jones is going to be that guy who's finally going to break through with the whole union talk. Like Jon Jones is having a great week in terms of PR, but I don't think he's quite that guy. I don't think he cares that much about other fighters to actually make that go forward. But aside from that, I just feel like they will work something out. Dana White seems to work things out contractually with a lot of guys when they seem to be upset. So I think that's going to happen as well. But it's still, it kind of underpins like this big discussion of fighter pay. And if you're a subscriber to The Athletic, we've had Chuck Mindenhall on the podcast many times. They're doing this fighter survey with like, isn't it 150 fighters or something like that? Anonymous?
Yeah. Around that number.
And they're doing a few different topics, and one of them is fighter pay. And I didn't read the piece yet, but I've heard that the consensus from fighters is that they're not being paid enough. Now, if you work and you work at any place that does like these anonymous surveys, it's almost always people saying that the compensation isn't enough. You know, people always say they don't get paid enough. But I do think, based on the evidence that we have from the contracts we've seen, fighters aren't being paid enough. Now, one thing I did see, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, Sean, because you kind of brought it up there as well. How do you feel the UFC is being portrayed right now when Dana White, the president, is coming out and saying that their potential GOAT, their greatest of all time, isn't worth the same amount of money that someone like Deontay Wilder is, who, you know, is a very, very good fighter, but, you know, you're not going to compare him to Jon Jones in terms of his legacy in boxing. So how do you think the UFC and MMA comes off in that sense?
I think in terms of the system that the UFC have built for the way they compensate the fighters, I think Jones is probably in the wrong. So how things have historically been done in the UFC is it's act a company man and we look after you with a handshake bonus or something in the locker room after.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot recently with the lawsuit that's currently ongoing about locker room bonuses and stuff like that. With how they've historically compensated fighters, Jones is probably in the wrong. But that historical system is broken. It doesn't work. I mean, if you're talking, you're at your potential GOAT, can't even earn a multiple or of what Deontay Wilder earns in boxing. It looks pretty bad on the UFC at the minute, I think, as well. Dana doesn't help that either, the way he speaks in the press conferences. I mean, they've both called for the text messages to be put out, and Dana was asked it, I think it was by John Morgan in a press conference, and he then proceeded in a typical politician's fashion to not answer the questions and just say, "Why would I lie?" So I think it looks pretty bad in the UFC when potentially a GOAT is not getting paid what he thinks he should. Or what he probably should, because he is underpaid realistically.
Yeah,
I think as well. I was going to say something else. Come on. Like there's been quite a few champions now in the last, like pretty recent past, have been unhappy with pay. Cejudo was retired. I think Adesanya was mentioning something as well quite recently. So
yeah, that's one thing I was going to bring up. You had Cejudo, who has, you know, from what we know right now, he's retired now. And it seems to all be related to his compensation. So that's two big name fighters with Cejudo and now Jon Jones, who are both coming out within weeks of each other and saying that they're not being paid enough, and that's the reason why they're going away. And then you look at the card last weekend, and one thing that struck me, and you kind of you said it to me before it actually happened because you watched it before me, and I'm talking about the fight. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll get it in a minute. But there was a post-fight interview where a guy won, but he was very upset with himself because he wanted to finish. He wanted to try to get some kind of bonus because he wanted to quit his job. And here he is on ESPN Plus, I guess.
Brandon
Royval, yeah. Great performance. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, he looked really good.
He ended up getting a bonus, so maybe he could. But on ESPN, you have a guy fighting in the biggest promotion in the world. Essentially, like, he was almost crying. I think he was crying.
Yeah, he was pretty emotional.
Saying that I'm not happy with this because I got to go to work in the morning. And like, I just don't think that comes off well for a sport on ESPN. No. That Dana White has come out and said, you know, we make a lot of money. We're doing the biggest business. Every year we're doing the biggest business. They have all these big investors and you have this kind of stuff. So it's not a great look, I don't think.
No. one thing that annoyed me about what Dana did, it did annoy me, and I don't mind listening. I can listen to Dana's shite talk because he does it a lot. But he mentioned how it was a bad time for Jones to be asking for more money. I mean, if you read John Nash's stuff, the UFC are on course for their second best year ever financially, and Dana has been like pretty hot in the media about how they're putting on events. The machine runs on. They're putting on pay-per-views that cost. Someone can correct me on this, but I think the pay-per-views are anywhere between $80 and $100 in the US. I'm not sure, but
something like that, yeah.
But they're putting on these events in pandemic times, and expecting people to fork out $80 to $100 for it's a good card, but it's not a blockbuster pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like it's not priced accordingly for what it is. So
yeah,
if you're gonna at Jon Jones for asking for more money, maybe you should look in the mirror.
Yeah. And one thing that just came up there, and Tom Broom Jones in the chat said it. He said Jones is their second biggest active draw behind Conor, and you could double his pay and it wouldn't be what he's worth. And I completely agree with that. And one of the arguments that always is brought up now in this kind of new ESPN era is that the UFC don't necessarily need to rely on these types of draws to really kind of make the money that they're trying to make, because they have this like minimum commitment of fights and they get paid either way. But what got them to the point where they could sign with someone like ESPN? It got them there because of the huge pay-per-views that people like Conor were doing, people like Ronda were doing, like all these huge numbers, these huge stars. And if they're like turning their biggest stars away, like Jon Jones is clearly one of them, you know, when you're going to renegotiate your deal with ESPN at the end of the day, you're not going to be in the same position as you were coming in with Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, you know. It's so I think they're playing a kind of a dangerous game in that sense as well. Yeah.
I don't actually have a massive issue with Dana. If fighters were properly compensated for what they did, and this pandemic struck, and Dana was trying to agree a fight with Jon Jones, I think if Jon was been properly compensated for his last forever, say in his career with the UFC, and Dana said, "Look, we've no gate on this fight. We want you to fight. Can you take a little bit less?" I don't think that'd be an issue. I think the issue is that they're underpaid anyway, and now Dana wants to offer them the same money for a bigger fight that generates more money, and he wants to offer him the same money that he would get for a fight that generates 500,000 pay-per-view buys. So it's context as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And Tom also put it in the chat that 20% of the revenue goes to fighters, and I'm pretty sure it's actually probably closer to like 18% as far as what I've seen.
Even of that 20%, how much of that 20% is taken up by, say, the top 10% of fighters? Like, do you know what I mean? Is that?
Yeah, and then even them, they're the ones that are driving all the revenue, so they should be getting all this money.
Yeah.
But then they're probably even more underpaid than these guys who are making way less than them, if that makes sense, because they're worth a hell of a lot more, you know.
I've seen Luke sort of mention in a tweet. He said the guys who are actually most underpaid, when you look at per dollar or something like that, it's actually the guys at the top. They're the most underpaid because they bring the most value. And it's not that the people are crying about the likes of Jon Jones earning $4 or $5 million per fight being underpaid, but the point is he is massively underpaid for what he brings to the sport.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It comes back as well to the structure of the sport is just different to boxing. The role of the promoter is totally swapped in the UFC to what it is in boxing. The promoter in boxing takes a cut, and the fighters get the majority, whereas in UFC and MMA, the promoter just gives the fighters a cut. Yeah,
it's very different, and that's essentially why it's kind of hard to actually compare the two, you know.
Yeah, this is the thing. I said this to you just before we went live. It's so hard to get, actually, for me anyway, to come up with like a comprehensible discussion on this Jones thing, because there's so much going on with it.
Yeah. So let's jump into some questions. Make sure you throw your questions into the live chat.
Do you think Jones and Ngannou will happen next?
Happen next?
Before we end on that topic, yeah.
No, I don't. I think too many things have to happen for that fight to happen. I think they can probably agree on something to keep him at light heavyweight, potentially, but I don't know. I just don't see it happening. The Ngannou fight, I mean. Let's jump into some other questions in the live chat. Make sure you leave them in there and hit the like
Sal
button.
and Linus back in the chat.
Back in the
Good
chat.
to have the
Good
boys
to have them back. And Linus is a bit confused that we've switched sides. It's just me messing around. Well, we swapped sides a few weeks ago. So
Did we?
he's obviously just not being keeping up.
Damn, Linus.
Damn. Okay, Alex Pearson. How do you think Peter Yan matches up with Aldo? I think he beats Aldo, Cejudo, and the rest of the division. I'm very high on Peter Yan. I think he matches up quite well with Aldo. I thought Aldo had a good performance at his first go at 135 pounds, but I don't think, no. I'm going to go with Peter Yan.
This fight being booked actually as well in the first place.
Huh?
Can we talk about this fight just being booked in the first place
for the title? Yeah,
for the vacant title?
It's
what the fuck?
Do you know what it is? It's like it's proof that like the UFC is just like, let's get some stars in here. Let's do it this way, because like there was clearly other guys available. You have guys fighting this weekend. They could have put an interim title fight or a title fight. It's going to be a title fight because technically Cejudo's gone. So they could have put the title fight on the one this weekend, and I think everyone would have been really happy. But Jose Aldo seems to be the guy. That's what they want to do.
Why not just do the 4-man tournament or something? I mean, if you want to stick Aldo in there, but I kind of get why. As in, Aldo was booked for the title, so you're kind of just replacing Cejudo with Yan. I wonder. I would have done. I would if you want to do Yan and Cejudo or Yan and Aldo to give Yan a fight, do Aljamain and Sandhagen and just put the two winners as the fight. Like, that doesn't have to be titles. I suppose I know for sellability of the fight and stuff. That has to be a title, but
I wonder if there's some kind of financial kind of twist to it, because Jose Aldo obviously makes a lot more money than all of these guys probably put together. Like I'm sure he's on a pretty sweet contract. So I wonder when he goes into a title fight and the pay-per-view points are on the table, all that, if it just works out cheaper instead of bumping some other guys like the likes of a Sandhagen and a Sterling straight up into a title fight position where they start looking at pay-per-view points. I don't know. There could be some kind of financial thing to it.
Yeah.
Because they with Aldo they kind of need to make use of him. It's kind of like I'm actually writing something for MMA on Point, and it's on kind of guys who, what would the word be? Not like guys who basically underperformed when they got to the UFC or whatever. And like one of the things is like a lot of these guys come in, especially if they're like big time free agents, and they get paid like a lot more money than some other guys do, and then they start losing to these guys who are making like 20 and 20, and it's like they're not worth it anymore. These other lads are making 100 grand per fight, and they're losing to guys who essentially So I feel like with Aldo, it's like he's making a lot of money. They need to make use of him, so throw him into a title fight, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, I kind of get it. It's just a weird one.
Yeah,
I think Peter Yan beats him as well. He matched up very well against a lot of bantamweights as well.
Let me see. Any questions here in the live chat? Let me go to the community tab real quick. Try your questions into the live chat, because it's always a bit more fun. But we have some questions there in the community tab. Let me jump in. Sneb Rem, would Jon Jones be having these issues if he kept a nickname Sexual Chocolate? My vote is no. Everything would be going his way if he kept that name.
Yeah, life would just be better.
Yeah. Salvastola, can Cody No Love make it the no brawl adjustment to his style like Justin Gaethje has? I think he can, because he'd done it before against Dom. But will he? We have too much data to say he won't.
I agree. When his best wins, we've seen him look beautiful. But spoiler alert, I'm picking a Sun Tzu in that fight. So
Jesus, Sean, jumping ahead. Well, we might as well get this one out of the way then. Conor Jordan, prediction for Sterling versus Sandhagen. Who do you think deserves a title shot for the vacant 135 belt? Who do you think deserves it? Well, it looks like Aldo and Yan are getting it. I would have said Yan. To be honest, Yan and Sterling probably. I'm a big Sandhagen fan, but I think those guys probably would have been the perfect matchup, deserving wise. Sterling and Sandhagen prediction. I'm gonna go for my boy, but Sterling's is a tough out.
Yeah, I'm taking. I was looking around on the odds today, just looking for like a bet of the night. I struggled with this card. There's some really well matched fights and some close ones.
Mm.
But I landed on a double of Corey Sandhagen and Rafael Asuncay. So Asuncay is around 4-5, and Sandhagen is even money. So the double is around 7-2, and that's my bet for the night.
Yeah. Very good. I might jump on that. Aaron Rabbit. A rabbit. I'm not really sure, Aaron. I'm sorry. Could you see a world where if Cody looked impressive and won, he got a title shot against the winner of Aldo Yan over the winner of Corey and Aljo because of the bigger name? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably likely. If he goes out there and he knocks out Asuncay, man, I think it's gonna be him. I genuinely think that, and it's sad.
Yeah, the question is, could I see a world? Yeah, I could. And the question is, do I want to live in that world? Not really.
Sean, you're living in it.
I know.
You're already there.
If Corey came out and or Cody, sorry, came out and knocked out Asuncay in a round and gets no damage and he's basically ready to go in 2 months again, and then Sandhagen and Sterling go out and have a 5-round war. Is it 5 rounds that fight?
The Asuncay fight.
Oh, the Sterling fight. No, yes, it's 5 rounds.
The Sterling fight. It's 3 rounds. It's Cormier. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
If they go out and have a 3-round war and one of them is out for the winner is out for a couple of months, then yeah, I suppose you are looking at Cody.
Do you know what would be very disappointing actually if the main event goes the way most people are predicting and Amanda Nunes just steamrolls Felicia Spencer, and then we have a close, great co-main event, 3 rounds, and they could have just said, let's just cut that main event. We know what's going to happen, and let's get 5 rounds of Sandhagen and Aljo. That would be disappointing.
Like, I actually kind of find it a bit weird that Asuncay and Garbrandt is the co-main on Tapology anyway.
Yeah.
And then Sterling and Sandhagen.
Yeah, I think it is actually. Yeah.
That's a little bit odd to me. I love that.
I think that tells you something, Sean, about who could be next in line for a title fight. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Let me jump back into the live chat. Do we have any questions in here?
Good bit of chat. See Linus saying that he bet Burns at the weekend as well.
Nice, well done.
Nice, yeah.
Speaking of that, actually, I was very happy. Not very happy, but like when I said last week that Tyron Woodley just looks like he just has run out of ideas, I think that's exactly what happened. I think that's what we saw.
Yeah. And he looked like he was there. I mean, I don't doubt that he trained his ass off for the fight. I think age and stuff is just catching up with him a little bit. I mean, he reached the peak of his career at quite an old age. So he's been through a lot of big fights late in his career, and it's kind of catching up with him, I think. Like he could definitely beat some of the lower ranked top 15 guys, I think.
Yeah. Still, do you know what he kind of reminds me of? Do you remember when Lyoto Machida got figured out? Like for the longest time, not nobody, because basically there was a lot of guys, most guys that Machida fought just couldn't figure out that karate style, just couldn't really do anything. And then eventually it was figured out, and a lot of guys kind of implemented the same game plan that was figured out. And like with Tyron Woodley, I think a lot of people couldn't really deal with like his speed and his athleticism, the way he used it, because it wasn't really that traditional. He's coming forward and being this like power puncher and power wrestler, taking people down. It was just like he was backing off and backing off and backing off and then hitting them. And with like his most recent performances, he's kind of tried that, but nobody has really given him a chance to do that, because they've either hurt him early, which is kind of what happened with Gilbert Burns, or they were just smart and just fought him a lot smarter than I guess the guys previously did. And he kind of, I just feel like he's kind of going that direction. People have figured him out. He figured out that style.
I seen a tweet that I thought was quite good. I'd be interested to know what you think about it. I seen someone, it said Tyron Woodley is still fighting Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Because up until the Wonderboy fight, he'd been all out that raw, explosive speed and power. And he was a lot more technical in that. in the 2 Wonderboy fights because he had to be because it was Wonderboy. But he never really got out of that.
Yeah.
We never really saw him go back to that raw, explosive speed and power.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like he found something that worked, you know, worked and didn't take a lot of damage, and yeah, he kind of ran with it. What do we have here? Linus, I'm turning my laptop upside down. He also said, instead of side by side or side to side, how about Sean sits on Rob's shoulders? Isn't it obvious? We would
Rob
do
does
that.
carry me on this show.
Yeah. We would do that if it wasn't for the social distancing crack.
Yeah.
When we're back in studio, that's the show.
Yeah.
Sean sitting on the shoulder.
That could be next year by the sounds of it.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. It's going to be a long time. That little studio, that little dog box would be like, I don't know.
We're gonna have cool. The company we work for has a new office been built, so hopefully we'll have a slick ass room.
Yeah, maybe they'll build us something just for the show. Who knows? I'm sure they all watch. Andrew Hibbs, Jones, Reyes too. I'd like to see it, but I just prefer to see him go on to like greener pastures at heavyweight. Personally,
I think from Jones' point of view, though, I mean, if they're offering him essentially the same money to fight Ngannou as he got to fight Reyes, it's a no-brainer which one you take, really.
Yeah. Brandon said, "Hey fellas, hope you're both well. Hope you're well, man. Appreciate it. King of the mods, should we cut our hair or wait till the barber's open?" I say go for it.
Shave it, man.
Just shave it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. Another hair question. This is probably to both of us, Sean, because you recently did yours. How are you still rocking that fade and beard? Actually, beard, that's probably for me. With all the barbers shut in the UK.
Thanks.
Well, he said beard. You don't have a beard.
Yeah. I know. I'm growing a little bit of a beard. You can kind of see it.
Kind of see it, yeah.
It looks like disgusting, though.
It's like an Orlando Bloom, like fucking
it's shit.
Job.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, barbers are close. I just like fucking looking at tutorials online, and I think that's what Sean did.
My mum actually cut mine.
Oh, fair enough then.
Yeah.
Did she look at tutorials?
No.
It's growing back though, grand like.
Yeah, I think it's almost a month now since I've done it. Like, time is flying during all this lockdown. It's almost a month since it got cut. So
yeah. Do you know what the problem is like, if you're like somebody who rocks the longish hair normally, like longish hair, I think you're grand, because just let it grow and it should grow out all right.
Yeah.
But the fact that like me and you, like I used to get mine really short, like skin fade, almost most of the time. So like that grows out awful. Like after a few weeks, you're like, ugh.
We're not used to having it long either. So like I get a 0.5 into a 1 or into a 1.5 fade, which is pretty close to, again, the skin fade, and then a lot taken off the top. So we're both pretty used to having it, and then it's just uncomfortable. You get like hair ache and stuff.
Oh, it's horrible. I also when I done it last time or 2 times ago, I don't know why, but I didn't take my t-shirt off, so I was cutting it and I was doing it, and I've washed the t-shirt like 3 times, but there's still little bits of hair in it, like in the it's disgusting. So yeah, if you're gonna do it, go skins, and then do it,
or at least put a towel around you.
Yeah. Tom Broom Jones, can Jones even call himself Sexual Chocolate? Mark Henry, the wrestler, yeah, we know him, called himself that back in the day. Probably owns a copyright. Probably does. Mark Henry, what a legend, the world's strongest man. Cowboy versus Oliveira. Your way, what? I don't know what
Cowboy versus Cowboy.
Cowboy versus Cowboy, like as in American Cowboy versus Brazilian Cowboy. Not really into it.
Yeah, I kind of, Donald's getting that towards that point where I kind of want to see him hang him up.
Andrew Hibbs saw Gilbert. Do you remember Reebok? Reebok put out the Gilbert Melendez apparel, and they spelt it Giblert. Like that was legit being sold. Yeah, like Giblert. Oh my lord,
that's a collector's item now.
I know. Giblert. Anyways, back to it. I saw Gilbert rankings post. I can't even read it, but basically Gilbert is now the number 1 ranked fighter at welterweight, number 1 contender essentially. like, on one hand, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Jesus, how can you forget about the guys like, you know, Masvidal, who's looked great, and all these guys. But like, technically, like, Tyron Woodley just lost the title and has lost this fight. You know, that's a big win. It's kind of hard to disagree. It's kind of hard to disagree with it.
If he got the next shot, I'd understand it. It's not who he's not who I would give the next one to. I mean, from the sounds of it, it sounds like they're having a lot of difficulty with the Usman and Masvidal negotiations. It sounds like both guys are just itching over money and stuff like that. So it sounds like that one's not been easy. Personally, in an ideal world, I think what I would do is Masvidal and Usman is the fight to make. And then I think what you said to Leon Edwards is you can wait it out, fight the winner, or you can fight Gilbert Burns. Yeah, which is a hell of a tough fight to take. But
here's the thing, right? So you have Usman and you have Gilbert. They both have the same manager. I'm gonna keep calling him Gilbert. Gilbert, he made 80 and 80 for that fight, I think it was, against Tyron. Masvidal made $500,000 for his fight, and it seems like he's looking for more. Gilbert just loves to fight. Like, I mean, he'll fight. Yeah. You know, on the weekend, he takes short notice fights everywhere. He's gonna be so easy to negotiate, I think. Yeah. The manager's gonna be pushing for it, man. I really totally won't be surprised if it's gonna be Gilbert.
Teammates as well, Usman and Burns, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Let me go back to the community tab. Get your questions in there, lads, and like the video. We gotta build this shit up. Do you know what I mean? Gotta get these viewers up. It was okay, David Little. I know you've spoken about this before, but do you think the UFC have set a bad precedent with McGregor's pay? How would you feel if they were how would you feel if you were Jon Jones or Nate Diaz and your contributions to the UFC rise was being overlooked financially and paying him? Yeah, so essentially, were the UFC wrong for paying McGregor so much money? No. Like, I mean, he probably still didn't make as much money as he probably should have with the amount of money he generated.
So would he earned in boxing. I know he fought Floyd as well, and Floyd brought a lot to that as well, or a large part of it. But McGregor damn well promoted his own ass in that fight as well, so he brought a lot to it as well. Yeah. I don't think they've set a bad precedent. I think McGregor just had more power. McGregor has just had more bargaining power than anyone in the history of the sport ever.
Exactly, yeah.
And as big a draw as Jon Jones is, he's not Conor McGregor. Yeah. And the difference, say, between what the guarantee offers and what Jones can bring in is a lot smaller than what the guarantee offers and what Conor McGregor can bring in. The bargaining power is just greater. McGregor can deliver that blockbuster pay-per-view, whereas the likes of Jones probably can't unless he has another draw with him, like DC or something. So or an Ngannou maybe.
Yeah, and like that's the thing with the whole like union thing. Like if they didn't unionize, they'd have a lot more power like collectively. But like you're gonna have these guys who are big stars who are gonna have some kind of bargaining power like McGregor, but they're gonna be few and far between, unless they're all, you know, lumped in together. It's gonna be again few and far between who kind of.
You know what was a point in that article I sent you earlier about the MMA pay from the Athletic. You know they obviously gyms and coaches and all this stuff take a portion of salaries or wages for how much you get paid for a fight. They all take it off the top. Yeah. Your coach gets 5%. Manager gets 10%. They are both taken off. Say Gilbert Burns earned 80 and 80, so 160 grand. So the manager's 5% or 10% comes off that 160 grand. Then the coach's 5% comes off that 160 grand. Everything is based on the 160 grand. Like it doesn't whittle down. So if you take the 16 grand off for the manager, well, the coach's 5% isn't then based on the 144 grand that's left.
Yeah, that sucks.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah, that is horrible. Ugh. I can't wait to read that, but it's gonna feel horrible.
It's a rough read now.
Justin Dempsey said Jones isn't a draw. He actually is quite a draw. He's not as big of a draw as, like, say, a St. Pierre or a Lesnar or a McGregor, but like he's up there probably. If he's not top 5, he's just outside.
His top 5 draws probably. He's easily top 3 draws
active
at the minute because
active
because
top
McGregor
3
is
easy.
McGregor is an anomaly. Forget
exactly. Yeah. Like if you look at his pay-per-views, look at say Jones Cormier. That was like close to $1 million. I think both of them were like between 800 and $1 million. And then the Gus fight, the second Gus fight was quite big. I think that was like 700,000. And then you had the Evans fight, which was in and around there. Like he's consistently doing, fairly good pay-per-view draws.
See, someone called Boom Boom Kyle in the chat. Is that there's a boxer that makes you think of his Tommy Kyle. His nickname is Tommy Boom Boom Kyle. It's hard to
Interesting.
Name,
yeah. He's talking about Eddie Hearn done a Zoom interview with Ngannou and Dillian White. Dana Control Freak contacted Eddie Hearn and told him not to put it out. Dana denying Ngannou exposure and possible bigger payday. I feel like I've just said some kind of conspiracy theory here. I'll turn into fucking Alex Jones.
I
don't know, it could be true.
I watched an interview with Eddie Hearn today, and he said, so they contacted Ngannou's team because there's been a bit of back and forth about him fighting Dillian White. And they said to Ngannou's team, look, John, Eddie Hearn has been doing these sort of press conferences. They're not press conferences, they're just kind of interviews with guys who might fight down the line.
Yeah.
And they've been doing them over Zoom and stuff, and it's just a chat. And he said to Ngannou's team, do you want to do it? So they did. They recorded it that night. Can't remember what night it was. But Ngannou never told the UFC that he was doing it.
Oh, okay. So
then Matchroom, Eddie Hearn's promotional company, put out the tweets and stuff that this was going live on Saturday or Sunday. And Dana White texted Eddie Hearn and was like, what the fuck is this? So,
oh, really? So it is true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In fairness, Eddie Hearn said he asked Dana, do you want me to take it down? And Dana said, yeah. So
I did see the poster. I just thought it was someone fucking photoshopping for the crack.
No. Like, it was recorded. Like, it happened. They're just not putting it out.
That's hilarious. Fair enough. Like, I mean...
Ngannou should have told the UFC.
Yeah. Especially...
Probably should have went through the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. MAKM said, is the world ever going to be the same? Sean, is the world ever going to be the same? My answer is no. Never.
No.
Definitely not.
That makes me sad as well.
I know.
Well,
the stuff that's happening though, man, is...
In the context of the pandemic, then no, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
In the context of what's going on in America, then fuck no, I hope it's not the same.
I know. Man, I don't want to talk about that because, first thing, I haven't been keeping up with it. I don't know that much about it, and like it's not really my place. But like, all I can say is that shit's fucked up, and hopefully everything works out okay and things improve, because that was disgraceful. Whew.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking horrible.
Jesse Mago said, I heard a rumour last week, I've seen this, that Habib was knocked out on the Steve E MMA channel. I'm not sure what that is. That Habib was knocked out in sparring before he went back to Russia. So does this put an end to the myth that he's never losing around in the gym? Just wondering if you heard about it. I was saying this, and it was on, I think, Middle Easy, and they said, like, they were kind of saying, was that the reason he went back to Dagestan, or went back to Russia and didn't take the fight? I mean, it was from an anonymous source. That's all they said. They said a trusted anonymous source.
Yeah.
It could be true, but like, I'm not willing to say it is.
Yeah, it's one of those rumors that just kind of comes out, isn't it? It's hard to buy into, really.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? MAKM said Colby versus Burns for an interim title. I don't think that, like, unless Kamaru gets injured or doesn't want to defend the title, then there's no need.
No.
Absolutely no need. Too Fast said the UFC is having the same issue as boxing: too much talking and not enough fights getting made, especially at lightweight and welterweight. Like, I kind of agree with that in a certain sense. Like, I think there is a lot of like guys going on Twitter and saying, "Oh, I'll fight anybody anytime," and then like not really. Like, it's not, this fight's not going to happen. There has been a little bit of that, but I also think the current climate, it's kind of hard for fights to be made anyway. But I don't think it's that bad.
Who was it fought a couple of weeks ago, Rob? And he won his fight.
Oh, yeah.
Said, do you know, I think of this. And he said,
who was it?
I'm trying to remember now. I'm going to go back through topology here.
I'll fight anyone, anytime in June.
Anywhere. Yeah. I'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. Just send me the contract for June. Come on.
Wonderful.
I'm trying to find it now. Was it the Overeem Harris card?
Yeah.
Edson Barboza. He said it.
It was Edson, was it?
He? I think it was Edson, yeah.
Was it?
I think so.
Lads,
Someone
by the way,
someone
lads,
might
do us a
remember and
favour.
correct me.
There's, there's 27 watching right now. Let's get that like up to 27. Why not? We need to advertise these better though, because we used to get like 80 odd. So we're doing something
Yeah,
wrong. I think it's YouTube.
Hello, mate.
Tell the lads.
I'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere, but just let me know that it's June and give
June.
me like a month's notice. Around that,
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Boom Boom Kyle said it's embarrassing how Ngannou has to ask the UFC if he can do an interview on YouTube. Fighters literally sign their lives away to the UFC. I agree that it's they do be a little bit too strict, but if they were promoting it as this like faux potential fight, and they were like promoting it as some kind of press conference, which it seems like they did, because I saw the poster and I was like, that looks like a press conference.
It
Then
says
like
press conference on the poster,
yeah. So I can understand Dana White being a little bit frustrated at that, to be honest.
It wasn't just like a podcast or something.
Yeah. What a weird thing for Eddie Hearn to do.
Yeah. To do it on this kind of fight, like he's been doing it with guys that he wants to match up anyway.
Yeah.
Which
that he has signed, I guess, like matchroom fighter.
Yeah.
Bizarre. MAKM killing it on the community tab right now. Did Jones just ask for a big sum to avoid fighting Reyes, or was it just for he had juice and it was like blanked out break? Nah, like people saying that Jones is afraid of Reyes. Nah. I think he just wants more money.
Fighters aren't afraid of anyone. Like Jones isn't ducking anyone here, or
except Darren Till.
Ducking anywhere.
And
he's ducking in there. But they just want to be compensated for what they're doing, the risk they're taking. Fighters aren't afraid to fight anyone. It's managers and politics that usually gets in the way. Yeah,
or for those who watched, who are fans, or I guess watched like UFC 1, UFC 2 around then, Heist is 100% avoiding and ducking Harold Howard. Absolutely.
All right, just to mention the juice one there, I don't think anyone wants a juice break at the minute, because USADA have said that they're basically on a testing break, so it's fucking needles out for the lads.
Unbelievable. Did you see TJ Dillashaw? Checked.
He is looking big.
He is
fat. With a
he's on that. He's on that Alistair Overeem fucking horse meat diet.
PHAT.
Unbelievable stuff. TJ Dillashaw. Why not? Go for it. Tom Broom Jones. You mentioned, Tom, that you had a question in the community tab. Maybe this is the one, but we'll see. Which UFC fighter, benefited most from going down in weight and vice versa? I would say Demetrius Johnson going down from bantamweight to flyweight, great show. And Robert Whittaker going up from welterweight to middleweight, another great show. Cheers, lads. This is not fair. You had time to actually think about this one. Tom, was your question? 2 great shouts, but let me think about it. Sean, do you have any that jump out straight away?
I'm trying to think of. They're 2 brilliant shouts. I'm trying to think now of other ones, just so I'm not copying.
I have one, right?
Okay.
And it kind of worked out and it didn't, and I think he would have still had a lot of success if he stayed there. But like, I think his career has kind of it's better now because he's done it. Daniel Cormier going to light heavyweight. Like Daniel Cormier, amazing at heavyweight, went down kind of because Cain Velasquez was champion. But like, even though he lost to Jones, like that feud that he had with Jones has really built up his career. I don't think he'd be the same guy if he didn't have that trilogy, or I guess whatever it was with Jones. So that's one.
Yeah, I think Jones going up and down has been a good one for him.
Cormier.
Now at all. Or Cormier, sorry, yeah. I think.
Give us your picks in the live chat as well if you can think of any. Going up and down, let me think. It's a tough one. Like who could you say? Like you can go with like the ones that, GSP going up winning the title, but like it was one fight. It's not really a thing. Mate, like we don't know yet, but Darren Till going to middleweight looks like it's been a good move so far. Yeah. Like very impressed with him against Kelvin. That could really play out well for him.
Like Frankie Edgar at lightweight. Yeah. Did he move up to lightweight as such?
No.
He was kind of just fighting because it was the lowest weight, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. And then he went down probably a little bit too late. Not even too late, but he went down to featherweight. And no, he's had a good career there, but like, yeah, it's kind of maybe. Maybe like Randy Couture when he went down to light heavyweight as an undersized heavyweight, won the title, had a kind of a great run there for a while. Yeah. There's the great one. FIFA King UFC, Dustin going up to lightweight, Ethan Roy, Rumble going up. Yes, that was out of necessity, and I think he had a good career after going up as well.
Do you know what was actually wild? Even looking at Gilbert Burns on Saturday night.
I know he was huge.
55.
I know.
How did he make 55?
Yeah,
Man,
like
massive.
He didn't even look
outsized at all.
No, he didn't. And Tyron is huge. Like Tyron couldn't make 155 if he cut off an arm.
No.
You know.
Tyron's a guy like a bona fide 170 guy.
Yeah, easily. Like how he makes 170 is kind of crazy, to be honest. And Gilbert looked good. Gilbert looked great. Tony going from welterweight to lightweight is another one. Yeah, it's a good one. Was Tony, because Tony done the Ultimate Fighter at welterweight, right? But a lot of the guys kind of do that because they don't want to cut so much weight, so they go like one weight class up, and then they're always intending to go down. Mm-hmm. So did Tony fight at lightweight and then just do welterweight for the Ultimate Fighter and then go back down? Because if he did, then it's still a good pick, but I would say that he was always a lightweight. He just competed there just to kind of win that. So
similar one then.
Not sure.
Michael Bisping did tough at
yes,
heavy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I'm trying to think of like heavyweights who maybe went up or down. Yeah, it's a hard one to. I think a lot of guys kind of went a bit too late. Like I think Lyoto Machida could have went to middleweight a bit earlier.
Masvidal to welterweight from.
Great show. Like Masvidal was great at 155, but clearly his performances were. He was struggling with that weight cut clearly.
Incredible to believe Dan Hardy fought Anthony Johnson at 170. Boom boom coil. Yeah, that's wild.
It's the craziest thing you'll ever see. Like oh my god. Jesus. So we have a few more in the live chat. So make sure you do hit that like button because it really helps us out, and subscribe to the channel. We do these every Tuesday, and I need to do those ranking videos because I've been just so fucking busy, Sean. I've been so busy, but they're coming.
No, he hasn't.
I've been so busy, like reading. Actually, let me just plug this because this is actually I've only got through. Say it there. Jonathan Snowden's new Ken Shamrock book. I've only read 50 pages because I only got it yesterday, but Ken Shamrock has had a life, Sean. Nice. It's like you're reading and you're like, this can't be real. Real. Like homeless and sleeping in cars and getting into fights when he was 10. Like genuinely, like
damn
fucked up shit.
I watched the 30 for 30 documentary. There was 2 parts to the Lance Armstrong one. It was very good. So I would recommend that if anyone can get their hands on it.
Yeah,
I want to check it out. So I was watching on BT Sport. Yeah, very good. It confirmed my thoughts that Lance Armstrong is a prick. It was nice to get an insight from him into why he's a prick.
Yeah. FIFA King UFC. Evans won the heavyweight tough season. He needed to move down. And he was a weird one because I don't think he fought at light heavyweight. I think he actually was a heavyweight and moved down, which is kind of crazy. Cannonier going down, great show. Cannonier going down is a great show from Ethan Roy. Well done. Yeah. Benavidez going to flyweight. Yeah, I think you can make the argument of a lot of the bantams going down to flyweight.
Yeah, when you get to that weight, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. So Tom Broom Jones, well done for that question. You were right when you said it was a good question. Excellent stuff. Back to the community tab. Salva Stola, where is Tug Rose hiding? I don't know. It seems like she didn't a family member get something happened with coronavirus with a family member.
So
I think so. And it seems like Weili Zhang wants to fight her, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in like if she was I don't mean to say if she was a man, but in a more stacked division like some of the male divisions are, I think sort of waiting around like she is now might hurt her more. But in that women's division where they're a bit thinner, I mean she's going to get the fight anyway. So
yeah,
if she wants to wait it out and doesn't fancy fighting during the virus, I can't blame her at all.
Yeah. FIFA King UFC said Mark Hunt's autobiography is great as well.
I can imagine that.
That guy has a crazy life too.
Wild.
Yeah. Linus said, are you guys big enough in Ireland that if you got arrested for like peeping Tomming, Will saying, do you have any idea who I am? Work. I think Sean is.
No.
I think Sean is. No.
No.
In your hometown, no?
No.
Oh.
No.
You've tried it?
No. There's no there's no they're called the Gardaí around here.
Yeah. The guards.
None of them in my town. It's too small.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want anyway.
Next time though, if I do get arrested, it's not going to be for peeping Tommy. That's not. And then next time, yeah. If I get arrested in the future, knock on wood that I don't, I'll give it a go and I'll let you know, Linus, if that works.
Yeah. If I get arrested, it's probably for drunk and disorderly in public.
Yeah. Anyways, Tom Broom Jones, Rose's grandfather passed. I think that's what it was. Rest in peace. FIFA King UFC Horiguchi to bantamweight. Yes. Great stuff. Mighty Mike 1011. What's your ideal matchups at the welterweight division? I think we kind of touched on this, but Sean, what was your ideal ones?
Okay, so ideal world now, I go Usman and Masvidal for the title. I do. You know what my issue now here is? There's 5 people kind of in the conversation, so someone gets left out. Someone
gets left out. So who's getting left out?
Colby can go fuck himself. He's getting left out.
Holy fuck, lads! Get Colby Covington in here.
We're doing Usman v Masvidal, and then we're doing Gilbert Burns v Leon Edwards.
Okay.
And then Colby can fight the loser of one of them.
Fair enough. I'll go Masvidal, Usman. That's the fight to make. And then, yeah.
Tough.
It is tough. Thompson is still in there, right? Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go Thompson. We'll go, just because I like the matchup, we'll go Thompson and Burns, but like it's probably not the best one for him. And then we'll go Edwards against Covington. We'll go that way. Why not?
I'm not mad with that Burns and Thompson. It's a fun fight.
I like the fight, but like I'm just trying to fit all these guys in, like essentially.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ideal. Don't let me be your matchmaker.
Pound for pound, barbecue king right here. I'll grill any animal. Send contract for dinner. I was at a barbecue on Saturday night actually. Had some nice munch. Nice.
I had a barbecue like 2 weeks ago or something like that. It was nice. King of the Mods, we will, and MAWDS, we'll go for another like 15-20 minutes, so make sure you get your questions in before we do end. How damaging is losing in the fashion Tyron Woodley has in his last 2 fights to fighters, whether they are in the prime or the end of his career? Yeah, it's not good. Like, I mean, he's after losing pretty much every round, right? I'm not even sure if he was awarded any rounds in those fights. So
he's lost 10 rounds in a row pretty much.
Yeah, 10 rounds in a row. He hasn't looked good. Like, I'm even wondering how many strikes has he landed? How many takedowns has he landed? I'd say not a lot. I think it's bad. I don't think it's a good look.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you look at all the variables in Tyron Woodley's case, his age, 10 rounds in a row, hasn't really looked like winning any of these fights at any time. Yeah, I think it doesn't look good at all.
I think it looks awful. Awful, bro. Have you been watching that RTE show, Normal People?
No.
Have you? Good. Yeah.
You read the book?
No, I haven't.
I caught 5 minutes of it. So I was in the kitchen. It was one evening before we came on here, actually. I was just in the kitchen getting a snack and something to eat before I came on. And my mum was watching it. And so I just sat down on the couch for like 5 minutes. And I swear to God, it was the most awkward 5 minutes of television I've ever sat and watched with my mum.
Yeah.
I had to get the fuck out of there.
There's a lot of sex in it, lads. That's all we're saying.
It seems like, I don't know, it seems grand. Like he just seems like an awkward fucker.
Yeah. No, it's very good. The director, I guess, I don't know if he wrote it. Like, I know it's from a book, but they obviously have to adapt it to it. Yeah, they have to obviously adapt it to his screenplay or whatever. But it's very well done. Very well done.
I've seen Love Hate is starting again on this Friday.
Oh, is it?
I'm buzzing for that. Yeah, I'm going to watch all that again.
Unbelievable.
Have you seen it?
No,
Have you
no,
not?
I didn't watch
Oh,
it. No,
Rob,
no,
watch it. It's
I've only seen
amazing.
bits and pieces of it.
It
Yeah.
actually holds up quite well because when I was on the flight home from America last year on Aer Lingus, they had, the way you can watch movies and stuff. They had
Mm.
Love Hate on the plane, so I watched some of the episodes. It holds up quite well. So
Yeah.
yeah, get on that.
I must watch it. I've seen a few episodes. Do you know what? I watched the episodes with Barry Keoghan in it because I know
Yeah, yeah,
Barry. Um, the whole cat killer thing. So I watched some of them. It is quite good.
pretty
Like
cool. Yeah,
it's good. Like it's good. Quickfire. I love this. You ready, Sean?
yeah, yeah.
Gin versus vodka.
Vodka all day
Gin.
and twice on
Gin.
Sundays.
We'll go gin. GSP
Of
versus
course.
Silva.
GSP.
GSP. Shower versus bath. Shower all day,
Shower.
every day. Christmas versus birthday. Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, Christmas.
Nice.
Easy.
All
Especially
day.
at this advanced age, Sean.
Yeah,
Oh,
all day.
I got reminded that I'm getting old the other day. Killed me.
Yeah. When's your birthday? What month?
Oh, it's not till February.
Okay.
But it was just
Mine's
like a thing. I was getting like some kind of, I was getting like insurance, that type of like area. And it was like, your next birthday, you will be this age, And I was like, oh shit, am I? Jeez.
Do you know
Pushing
what I
30.
realized as well? Because it's my birthday this month, and you know that when you're signing up for stuff, and it's like, what age are you? But the ages are in brackets.
Mm.
I've moved up a bracket now. That's when I was
Oh,
like,
no
shit.
way. You're like out,
Yeah.
you're out of a certain demo now.
Yeah,
You're a different
I'm out of a
demographic.
certain demographic now, so it's just, it's just depressing.
Marketers will be looking at you like, he's a new guy, He's a
Yeah.
new man. That's the funny thing, isn't it, about marketing? It's like you're put into these brackets and now you're a new one. Like
Yeah.
the thing that you liked yesterday, you're new now.
God, don't like it.
Tom Broom Jones, could Chase Hooper beat Amanda Nunes or would he get absolutely mollywopped?
He's super fighting this weekend, isn't he?
I think Amanda wins that.
Yeah,
I like
think
Chase
so.
Hooper. That's the thing though, like let's be honest, like if you have like a top male fighter against a top female fighter, the male fighter will win just because they have like physical advantages. But like Amanda Nunes would, as he said, mollywop a lot of the lower end fighters, many of them.
I'm pretty sure Amanda fucks up a lot of guys in sparring anyway.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to a coach on this. I can't remember whose coach it was, saying that they don't actually let their female fighters spar men because it's just different. I mean, the whole movement and everything is just different. There's it's not really any use to.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
To women to spar men.
Yeah. You'd wonder though, like what the strength difference would be, because like Chase Hooper, he's like really like gangly guy, but like he probably has a crazy grip. He seems to have a crazy grip, from that jiu-jitsu background. So you never know.
He's fighting at feather, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, feather is it? Yeah. Oh, then
he's probably
big.
cutting to feather as well.
Yeah.
Realistically, how much weight does Amanda cut to get to feather?
Yeah.
Well, I think even with the size advantage, I think she'd beat him. I mean, we're talking so hypothetically here, but yeah. I'd back Amanda in that one.
Random hero, Conor McGregor versus Anderson Silva. Your opinions?
No, don't care. Will watch.
That's the right answer, Sean.
Yeah.
It's one of them, right? It's like
what weight class, Rob? At 185.
No, like what did Anderson Silva say? Like 176.3 or something like that. That's what he said.
Did he say that?
Yeah, something mad. Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's like if you're just given that fight, right? Like if that's the fight we're getting, and we're getting that, right? There's no other options. I'm like, I'll watch it, grand. But like, if there's other options, then go look at them other options. Like, there's no point in that one. It's just like there's nothing there. But again, if it's the only one they're gonna do, I'll watch it.
Yeah, same. But the size difference is huge. Then McGregor weighed in at like 168 with his clothes on for the first Diaz fight.
Yeah, eating steak for like breakfast and all.
Yeah, Anderson would be 190 walking into the cage. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
that.
It's like, what the fuck, like.
Yeah.
Get a fucking grip.
Big grip.
Do you know what I mean? Linus is asking some strange questions, but let's answer them. Can you guys describe each other when the other is hammered? I don't think I've seen Sean hammered before. Oh, I might have actually.
You might have, yeah.
I might have. A few Christmas parties.
I've never seen you hammered.
No.
Like, ever.
I handle the drink very well.
Yeah. I handle mine okay, but you just have, like, better discipline to actually just not drink loads.
Yeah. I can stop.
I can't.
So because we can't really describe, I can kind of describe Sean. Sean just gets very friendly and like a bit louder. Is really that's it. You know,
Yeah,
like a
I'm
bit
very
more
happy.
sociable.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love a
Um,
mat fighter.
I just get tired and go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
bed. I'm tired.
I'm just a great crack.
Yeah.
I like any dances or maybe.
I don't know
What's
what
your
that next question is, but
What's your karaoke song, Rob?
I don't sing karaoke. But if I
I
had to,
didn't ask you if you sing karaoke.
all
I
right.
asked you what's your karaoke song.
If I had to go to one, oh jeez, tell me yours. And let me think.
Teenage Dirtbag.
Oh, that's a good
Sweet.
shout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do the girl's voice part?
No.
No.
I'll sing it like, but I don't do the girl's voice. I don't do a girl's voice when I'm singing it.
That's actually him though. It's not actually the girl. It's just he does the girl voice. I don't know. Like I'd probably it's something easy like the Beatles or something like that. You know, because their songs are just easy. Go like fucking I don't know. Beatles, something Beatles. Who gets more handsy? Sean. He's single, so so he can.
I'm not gonna make the obvious joke there either.
What?
Just because it's a goalkeeper doesn't mean you can't score.
Andrew Habib versus Jones. Jeez, bro.
Damn.
Jeez.
Like I want to see Khabib at 170 at some point in the future, but jeez.
Yeah, 170. Let's do it at 192 pounds, 0.7. We'll take it Anderson Silva style. Linus stays undefeated in the chat. Yeah.
I think so.
Quite good to be fair. Tom Brown Jones said that Silva versus Conor is the absolute dumbest fight that I 100% need to see.
Yeah, it's 100% the dumbest fight that I don't need to see, but will 100% watch.
Yeah,
is what it is for me.
there was a question about Chang versus Beer. I don't actually know what
I think that
is.
was a joke about Willie Zhang.
Oh, was it?
I don't know. Maybe Chang is a beer, like.
It is a beer, yeah. I think it's like a I don't know, some kind of beer. I thought it was a beer.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not a beer.
I don't know. Linus, we can smell our own. Not trying to brag, but back in my day, I could pull a 4 out of 10. Worst case, I'll go for a 2 just to change it up. I see that in you, Sean. Thanks, Linus. Oh, it's good to have him back.
Sean just got to hit him with the uncut gems and chill. Sean would have a fucking panic attack.
No.
This is funny. Habib could make 205 in a tiramisu factory.
Habib, like, apparently walks around not far off 190 pounds, like.
Rob was talking to some 35-year-old MILF and like, I run a podcast conglomerate. We have sponsors like Hibs Inc. and Sal Worldwide. Oh God. Yeah. That's me.
Fucking head.
That next one's great too. I can't read it though.
Like
I just keep
talking
laughing.
to some bridesmaid because being like, I'm famous, I have a podcast, let's go to the bathroom. Also, you'll never see me again. Also, I love you.
How accurate is that?
No comment.
There we go to the community tab, see if we missed anything. But that's funny. No, we didn't miss anything in the community tab, I don't think.
You going to stay up for the card this weekend?
Actually, let's talk about that a little bit because we haven't really. Before we leave, let us know also in the community tab your predictions, not community tab, in the live chat, your predictions for the card as we go through them. But we'll kind of fly through them. But I might. But yeah, UFC 250 goes down this weekend, headlined by Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer for the featherweight women's title. Like, I'm gonna pick Amanda Nunes for the obvious reasons, but like, you know, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. This is a co-main event to me. This is the co-main event of a 2 title pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm more interested in the co-main event and the
Yeah.
other fight under that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Amanda all day, twice on Sundays. But it's that thing Noel always says that you always say, we don't see them coming until it happens. You know?
Yeah,
That one.
that kind of came out wrong, but yeah. Rafael dos Anjos versus Cody Garbrandt. Very, very interesting fight.
Good fight, yeah.
Not a lot of hype around Cody Garbrandt's return. Like, I kind of forgot that this was actually happening, but he has a really, really tough fight against a guy in a Sunsao who makes everybody who he fights generally look bad. But like, he had some not bad performances, but he got beaten by Corey Sandhagen. I thought Corey Sandhagen looked great in that fight, and Moraes as well. But aside from that, like, he's always looked good. Now, Cody Garbrandt coming back, 3 losses, three KOs, and pretty bad, and kind of like similar KOs. Like the two against TJ were like exactly the same, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd like to see Cody Garbrandt come back and show what he showed in the Dominic Cruz fight. I'm just not really confident that that's going to happen. But, you know, after Sunsao losing them 2 fights and he's getting a bit older, or as I think Brendan Schaub said, he's getting a bit older in the tooth. Did you hear that? He said he's getting older in the tooth.
No, Brendan he's Schaub. The oldest in the tooth, man.
Yeah.
He had to come up, didn't he?
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, Sean. But, yeah. I don't want to pick Cody Garbrandt because I just don't. But I'm going to pick Cody Garbrandt. I'm not really happy about it. Do you know why? Because Asuncao is quite conservative, and I feel like that's going to play well for Cody Garbrandt because he won't get into a gunfight. But he will, and he's going to lose. But I'm going to go Cody Garbrandt. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to pick. This fight is really evenly priced as well. So, 1 sec, I have them up. Oh, this thing froze. Asuncao is around 5-4, and Garbrandt, if I remember right, is around 8-11.
Yeah.
Let me check. He's actually 4-6. So, I really struggle to back Garbrandt at that price. Like, he's just got thrown into gunfights. Like that win against Dominic Cruz was 2016.
Yeah,
that's a long time ago. And I don't know how ring rust will affect him. He's been out over a year now, so yeah, I'm going to take Asuncao in this one at the price. I think Asuncao wins, and I think the price is good value for me to back. So.
Yeah, I don't feel very happy about picking that, and I think I made a huge mistake. But Sean, I can't go back on it. I've done it.
No,
I've done it. I can't go back. Aljamain Sterling's Corey Sandhagen, just incredible fight. Really good fight. I wish it was 5 rounds. I think on the feet, Corey Sandhagen is probably one of the best strikers in the UFC right now. I think overall he's very, very good, and he reminds me a little bit of like a Carlos Condit on the floor, but an improved Carlos Condit. And what I mean is, like, he's not afraid to be taken down, and the minute he's taken down, he'll attack with submissions. But I think he's a little bit wiser than Condit, where when he knows it's not working, he'll try to get himself back to his feet, and he's actually quite good at it. Where Condit sometimes would like look for submissions off his back, get trapped there, and not really know how to get back up off his feet, or not have the ability to do that. I think Sandhagen's quite different in that way. Uses a jab like basically nobody does in MMA. Actually, Sterling kind of does it as well. But I think on the feet, I think you have to favour Sandhagen. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Sandhagen is kind of one of these new breed of fighters who just does everything really well. Like a really well-rounded MMA guy. And he's even money, so for me, I'm going to take that. It's as close as you're going to get to a 50-50 fight. I mean, some places have it priced up at 10-11 and 10-11.
Nice.
Which is essentially an even money fight just with margin and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm going to take Sandhagen in this, but not confident at all. And that's just totally price-based, pretty much.
Yeah, and yeah, like, it's frozen up there, but I want to get the records up because you look at the runs that these guys are on, it's crazy. Like, you look at Aljamain Sterling, go for Sean, do you have it there?
Yeah, give me a second.
I see Brett Johns, wasn't it? Brett Johns, his win after the Moraes fight.
Yeah, Sterling's last loss was December 2017 to Marlon Moraes, and since then, before that, he'd actually beaten Renan Barão.
Yeah.
But since that loss, he's beaten Brett Johns, Cody Stamann, Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munez. So, hell of a run.
Yeah.
And Sandhagen is also on a hell of a win streak since he came to the UFC.
Yeah.
Hasn't lost since 2017. He's beaten Mauro Batista, John Lineker, Rafael Assunção in his last 3. So.
Yeah, and he's had like a little bit of everything in there as well, just like Sterling has. Like he has like a ground and pound win early, he has wins by body shot, he has some decisions in there against tough guys.
He has an armbar in there.
Yeah, I made the pick earlier,
punches.
but I'm gonna go with Sandhagen in this one.
Nice.
Bright future, I think, and Sterling I think has a bright future. I think on the feet he'll edge it.
Nice.
You picked Sandhagen as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That's my bet of the night is the Sandhagen and Assunção double. So.
Yeah. Neil Magny and Anthony Rocco Martin. I think this is Neil Magny's fight. I think Martin he's like, in my opinion, he's like a worse Neil Magny. And Magny went on that crazy run back in the day.
He's been around the UFC a while.
Oh, he's been around.
Rocco Martin, that is.
Oh yeah, both of them have been around, but yeah, Rocco Martin's been around. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Neil Magny in this one. I just think he's the better fighter.
Yeah, I'm going to take Neil Magny here as well. I just think he's fought a higher level. He has the better wins. I think he's probably just the better fighter if he performs on the night.
Yeah, and then you have Sean O'Malley opening the main card against Eddie Wineland. That's a fantastic fight. It's also like a perfect, old school kind of like former title challenger, kind of near the end of his career against this up and coming guy to see if like Sean O'Malley can actually get through this type of guy. Really good match, well matched fight. I'll take Sean O'Malley, but Eddie Wineland has surprised me many times. But I'll take O'Malley.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against O'Malley, so I'm going to pick him. But yeah, it's a good tough test for him. Yeah,
and then the prelims are not bad as well. You have Chase Hooper against Alex Cceres. Man, that's a tough fight for Chase Cooper. Like that first fight that he had in the UFC wasn't easy. He eventually got it done, but Cceres isn't easy to beat, and he's beat some really good guys. He's been in there with the best, so. That's a good one. Heinisch and Mershart is a fun fight. Stamen Kelleher is a really good fight. Brian Kelleher really recently fought, didn't he?
Kelleher fought, I think it was the first lockdown card.
Yeah, so like less than a month ago, I think.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, Kelleher,
quick turnaround. He looked great in that fight too.
Did, yeah. That's a really fun fight.
Omega
and Alex Perez is a fun fight as well.
That's fun. Yeah, that is fun. Yeah, so. It's
one
good.
opening the card on the prelims is Evan Dunham and Gilbert Burns' brother Herbert. That's a fun fight.
Yeah, Al Herbert Burns, not Gilbert or Glibert, whatever you want to say. Wineland's a former world champ. That's right. I said challenger, but I meant in the UFC. If I'm right, he did challenge in the UFC. Anyways, any more questions? Throw them in real quick, and we're gonna finish up in a minute. But Sean, do you have anything to leave us with?
No. I want to play Crash Bandicoot for the evening on my Nintendo Switch, which I recently purchased.
You got that today, didn't you?
Yes, it arrived today.
Oh, unbelievable stuff.
Crash Bandicoot is me for the evening.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might go out for a walk. I've got into walking lately because there's nothing else to do.
Nice.
And bought a Fitbit.
Take that dog for a walk, Rob, as well, will you?
Can you hear it, can you?
Yeah, I can hear it.
That's my dog, I think. She's the worst outside, but yeah. Boom Boom Kyle, did you guys answer my Cody Garbrandt question, or did you miss it? Repost it. I'm trying to find it. Going up through the comments. Repost it really quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna go for a walk, Sean. I'm gonna enjoy the weather if it's still out there. I think it might be. And yeah. It's been I love these bank holiday weeks. The week it just flies. It's brilliant.
I took Friday off work as well, so I had the 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tom Broom Jones, kind of wild that Nunes will have headlined UFC 200 and UFC 250. Ooh, yeah, only person to main event 250 pay-per-views. That's a cool.
That's wild, actually. Yeah, I forgot that she headlined 200.
I know.
200 really fell to shit, didn't it?
Oh man, yeah. And I didn't like the canvas either. That yellow canvas.
Yeah, it wasn't nice.
No, I don't know if we're gonna get this question from Boom Boom. Has Sean ever seen a police sketch picture that looked like him?
No. Do you want to draw me one, Linus? He can draw me one.
Yeah. Why have you, Linus? Is that what you're trying to get at?
There's Boom Boom's question.
Okay, there we go. What do you guys make of Cody Garbrandt this weekend, coming off 3 losses and a tough matchup this weekend? Will he be cut if he loses 4 in a row? I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut, especially 3 losses by knockout and then potentially another one. It's a really tough position for him to be in, and he's not getting an easy fight, as we said, against the Sun South. Makes guys not look good. Tough guy to look good against, like, you know, it's one of those. So I'm picking him just because I'm kind of hoping we'll see a return to like his best, but he has like a hell of a lot of problems when it comes to like striking and leaving his chin up. Why? But I don't know. His Sun South's very conservative, so yeah. Do I think he's going to be cut if he loses this one? I'd probably say yes. And I'm picking him, but I wouldn't put money on that at all.
I'm not so sure he gets cut if he loses. I mean, he's coming off those 3 knockout losses and he's come in and
I know.
card,
I know.
So, I'm not so sure he gets cut if he loses. I think he has a name. That's quite useful to the UFC. So.
I wonder though if he gets knocked out again, would he consider just retiring? Like if it's a knockout, who knows?
Possibly.
But yeah. Anyways, let's leave it there. We've gone on for too long. But thanks to everyone for joining. Make sure you do subscribe if you haven't already. And hit the like button because it does help out the channel. We do this every Tuesday. We need to try advertise it a bit more because...
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. And we need to, like, I don't know, push it out there a little bit more. But yeah, it's always been fun. And Sean, thanks for joining us. And go enjoy some Crash Bandicoot. Enjoy, my man.